Hello everyone, welcome to Lukmaan IAS. Today we are going to have the Hindu newspaper analysis dated 21st of August 2023. In today's newspaper discussion, we are going to cover some important topics from the editorial section of the newspaper, and there were many other important topics also in other pages of the newspaper. Along with this, we have also included some questions to discuss with you. So let us start the discussion now. So these are the list of articles that we are going to cover in today's newspaper discussion, right? And along with this, like we have some other topics. In all, we are going to cover 11 important topics from the newspaper that are going to be beneficial for your preparation for civil services exam. So now let us talk about the first topic. This topic is important. It says pilot fatigue in India, a wake-up call for airlines. Okay, so this topic is related to, let's say, Indian economy, right? This is related to Indian economy, and as part of Indian economy, right, it's related to, let's say, aviation sector, right? It's related to aviation sector. So this article has been written by one of the former pilot trainers, right? So this person has been a former pilot trainer, and like he is also a former member of the Civil Aviation Safety Advisory Council, right? So this person has a lot of, let's say, experience related to pilot safety, the training module for pilots and all. So if I talk about what is the context of this article, right? So this article has been written by the author in the context of the recent news that one of the pilot, in India, so like he met with a cardiac arrest. Okay, he met with a heart attack just before entering into the, let's say, just before entering into the cockpit, and because of that heart attack, that pilot has died. He passed away. This is not one single incident. There have been several such incidents in the past week where pilots have died, and mostly the pilots are Indians, right, or Indian origin people. So now let us talk about like why pilots are facing so much stress, right? Because why they are facing so much stress. If they have a stress, how to tackle it, right? So in this article, the author has first of all given many examples where such things has happened, means like where pilots, because of high stress, because of high workload, right? So they they are also human being like us. The pilots are also human being like us. They need rest, intermittent rest before, let's say, boarding on the next flight. And here what happens in, if I talk about the Indian civil aviation sector, the Indian aviation sector, so they are the companies that are operating these, let's say, planes. These companies have a, let's say, single-minded motive to make profit, right? So they have a motive of making profit and also making people work more. So with this motive, they are operating. They want to reduce their operation cost. They want to increase their profitability. However, at the cost of doing this lies the risk of, let's say, putting the pilot at risk, putting the passengers at risk, because the pilot is the one who is not only flying himself, but like he is also carrying hundreds of passengers along with him, like in every flight. So in India, what happens, these companies, right, airlines companies that are operating these airlines, so what they are doing, they have, let's say, hired some pilots who are, let's say, trained, who have license, right, functional license. So they have hired these people, and they ask them to operate on odd hours, means odd hours has been a norm in the aviation sector, because there are times when the flights take off, let's say night 2 a.m. then so at all times the flights, let's say, are there. However, the same pilots are asked to, let's say, take up this flight, take up next flight, take up next flight without any intermittent rest. And also they keep on operating for 6 days in a week. They just get only 1 day off. And this is in comparison to, let's say, ground staff. Like in ground staff in airline companies, what happens, those people who are working as engineers, who are working as ground staff, so they have 2 days off, right? So they are working for 5 days in a week and they are getting 2 days off. And if it comes to pilots, so they are getting just 1 day off. And also in 1 day off, I mean, like, they like work for so many hours in odd hours. So they do not get proper time to rest. They have high level of anxiety. They have high blood pressure. So a lot of issues are associated, like, with their health. Why? Because of, let's say, like, the profit, only profit motive of the these companies, like, airline companies. So in this article, the author has talked about the airline companies of India, and he has compared how airline companies in India are functioning vis-a-vis the foreign airline companies. So the author makes a point that in foreign airline companies, like, they give proper, let's say, like, timing for the pilot to take rest, right? To take rest before any flight. And also in every flight, they have, let's say, a pilot and a co-pilot. That is the case in India also. However, in India, pilots are at high risk of cardiac arrest, or, like, they are under high stress, high pressure all the time. And also here the author has talked about that the training that happens for pilot in India, in many cases these training are just ticking the boxes, okay? So they are not doing the training in a manner that should be done, okay? So there are compromise on the standards of training that are being provided to the pilots. So the author makes so many points, and the author has talked about, like, some of the books, right, that the Civil Aviation Ministry can go through to understand, like, what kind of rest does a pilot require, what kind of a training does a pilot require, right? So what should be the checks and balances before, let's say, a flight takes off. So many things have been talked by the author. So in this article, the author has talked about that pilot fatigue in India is a wake-up call for the airlines. It should be taken as a wake-up call, because the thing is, like, long back, like in 1976, one of the, let's say, airline that was carrying 95 passengers, right? So what has happened, like, it has crash landed. Why it has crash landed? Because that pilot has reported that, like, he was feeling asleep, because just before this flight he has also taken 2 other flights and he did not get any rest, right? So these are the things that the author has highlighted in this thing. So now this is the time that the airline companies in India should, wake up. And also the Ministry of Civil Aviation, right? Not only Ministry of Civil Aviation, and the DGCA, Directorate General of Civil Aviation, they should also take care of this particular factor, because health of pilot is very, very important. It's not only important for the pilot, it's also important for the passengers, it's also important for the, let's say, civil aviation industry, because a single accident, right, puts the safety standards of a airline company at questionable, let's say, makes it questionable. It puts the things at risk, okay? So this is the thing. So with this, like, we are going to move to the next topic. Now this is another topic. This topic is very, very important for the exam point of view. So this is important for GS paper 2 of the mains exam, okay? GS paper 2 of mains exam under Indian polity section. So in this article, we are going to understand about criminal law bills, okay? Criminal law bills, renaming is needless meddling, okay? So as we all know that recently the Home Minister of India has introduced 3 bills in the Lok Sabha. One of the bill is known as Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, okay? One of the bill is Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. So this bill is going to replace the Indian Penal Code, okay? So Indian Penal Code will be repealed, and in its place they are going to bring the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. The second bill is known as Bharatiya Nagrik Suraksha Sanhita, which is going to replace the Code of Criminal Procedure, or CRPC, okay? Then the third bill, which is known as Bharatiya Sakshya Bill, it is going to replace the Indian Evidence Act, okay? So 3 bills have been introduced to replace 3 existing bills. In this article, the author has talked about the naming of the bill. These 3 bills that have been brought by the central government in the parliament, these bills are named, in Hindi words, in Hindi or Sanskrit words. Means Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, Bharatiya Nagrik Suraksha Sanhita, and Bharatiya Sakshya Bill, okay? So these three bills have been named in Hindi words. And the author here makes a point that like using Hindi language, right, does not suit all, right, does not suit all Indians. Why? Because the author says that the language of the courts, right, the Supreme Court of India or the High Court, right, and even in most of the district courts, the language of the court is English. And also it is constitutionally mandated that the judgments that are given by the courts, these judgments should be in English, right, should be in English. So the author has mentioned some constitutional provisions, right, some constitutional provisions. And also the author says like, India is a vast country. I mean, like, it has a vast geographical territory. And here, like, people speak different languages. Not everyone speaks Hindi, right? If we go to South India, right, state of Tamil Nadu, state of Karnataka, state of, let's say, like, this Telangana. So these states, right, in these states, people speak their own language there, or they speak English. And in northern India, people speak Hindi, but along with this, like, people also speak English. In northeast India, like, many people speak Hindi, along with this, they speak English also. So English as an official language has been adopted by the Constitution of India, and it has been debated widely, right? When the Constitution was being drafted, during the drafting phase of the Constitution, it was widely discussed that what should be the language of the courts, right? So it has been officially enacted that language of the courts will be English. However, there have been, after the enaction of the Constitution of India, after enacting the Constitution of India, there have been, let's say, linguistic reform commissions also. So many of the states in India have been, let's say, their territory had been demarcated based on the language that people speak, right? So based on the language. So that has been a progressive step, because it has allowed the regional languages also to get recognized. And in this article, the author says that one of the regional languages is Hindi. Apart from this, there are many other regional languages in India. Since Hindi is spoken by more people, so imposition of Hindi on other language, right? Imposition of Hindi on other language will not be a constitutionally right thing. Why? Because it will amount to imposing majoritarian thought on the minorities. This is what the author says over here. So authors make a point related to the language used in naming of these bills, right? The Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, Bharatiya Nagrik Suraksha Sanhita, and Bharatiya Sakshya. So that's why the author says that the issue of language was hotly contested and debated in the Constituent Assembly, and it led to the adoption of various provisions in the Constitution as well as Official Languages Act. Okay, so author clearly mentions that in the Constitution of India also it is mentioned that language of the court will be English. And also here the author says that the original draft of the National Education Policy contained provision which drew protest, being seen as an attempt to impose Hindi. And also in many South Indian states there is a agitation against Hindi, like people are not willing to adopt Hindi there because they have their own language, regional language that they speak in their state. Apart from this, those people also speak English, okay? So they don't want that there should be an imposition of Hindi in their state. So in this article, the author says that the name is the part of the act. The name that has been given on these acts or on these bills, like Bharatiya Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, Bharatiya Nagrik Suraksha Sanhita. So these names are also part of the act, part of the, let's say, these things. So these names should be changed. This is what the author says, okay? So the name is the part of the act, and the Constitution of India mandates the use of English, okay? So the author says that there is a contradiction. Why? Because the content in these acts are mentioned in English. However, the title has been given in Hindi, okay? This is what the author suggests. So author says that name should be changed, okay? Name should be changed. So with this, we will move to the next topic. This topic is again important. This is like written in a very elaborate fashion by the author. So they have included so many points that are worth understanding, that are worth noting, right? So it says crafting safe generative AI systems, okay? Crafting safe generative AI systems. So this topic is related to GS paper 3 of the mains exam. It's important under science and technology. So through this article, we are going to understand many perspectives, right? Many perspectives related to generative AI, right? Related to generative AI. So what is generative AI? We need to know about it. Generative AI is any computer program, any computer system, right? Any system that is able to generate information according to like the input that is given. For example, one of the example of generative AI is Chat GPT, okay, Chat GPT. So if you ask any question in Chat GPT, it is going to generate response according to the question that you have asked, right? It gives very intelligent answers to the questions that you ask. So this gives answer in the form of text, right? In the form of text means you get the content in text format. However, there are other examples also of generative AI. Generative AI can generate video for you, can make a video. Generative AI can generate graphics for you. It can write stories for you, right? It can generate audio for you. So there are very multiple types of generative AI that are emerging, right? That are emerging. So along with this technological revolution, so this generative AI is considered to be a technological advancement, right? That this society have ever seen. Now, if we go back, let's say to 1448, the person who has invented the press, Gutenberg, this is known as Gutenberg printing press. So that was a revolutionary concept at that point of time, because that time the knowledge was imparted to people through oral means. Then that particular person has created a system where we can print the books also. So that was a revolutionary step, and now we see like huge number of books are printed using n number of different printers, right? So that was a revolutionary thing that was done by the people at that stage, right? Now this is also a revolutionary change in the technological domain. However, this revolutionary change that has come in the technological domain, it does not come only with benefits. It does have many negative aspects associated with it. What can be the negative aspects associated with the generative AI? One of the negative aspect is, let's say, misinformation that it can generate. It can generate fake information. It can generate disinformation, right? And so there can be, let's say, some good actors who are using these generative AI for the purpose of, let's say, for the purpose of meaningful and beneficial purpose for everyone. However, at the same time, there are bad actors also. Bad actors means those people who have malicious intent. They have intent to harm the society. They have intent to harm the systems that are in place, right? So those bad actors, what they can do, these bad actors can, let's say, compromise, enter into these systems. They can create clone systems like this, and they can spread misinformation at a very rapid pace. You might have heard about the videos that are being generated, right? Videos, deep fake videos. During Russia-Ukraine war, we have seen many deep fake videos of Russian president speaking something which is not the actual video of Russian president. Means like it is has been made using deep fake. Means these videos are made, it resembles that the actual person is saying. However, it is not the case. This has also been the case in case of, let's say, Ukraine, right? So Ukrainian president's deepfake videos were also there. So deepfake is a challenge. Then there is challenge of misinformation, and the author is predicting that in the coming years, right? In the coming 2-3 years, there will be elections across the world. Let's say there will be election in the in India, right, where billions of people are going to participate. There will be election in United States of America. There will be election in Canada. So there will be many countries across the world where there will be elections. and these generative AI may be used by some let's say like some of the parties, political parties, okay, may be used by some people for let's say altering the actual result of the election, to let's say bring let's say back like out of the context results from election. So the author says here that like to curb this particular thing, we need a different system altogether, like we need a different framework, and for that the author has suggested a new framework. That framework is known as identity observance framework. Okay, so I'll be writing this. Okay, so the author has suggested So I'm going to write the name of the topic. It is crafting safe generative AI systems. Crafting safe generative AI systems. Okay. So what the author has suggested an alternative framework which is known as identity observance framework. Okay, author has suggested that there should be an identity observance framework. So what do we mean by identity observance framework? So author says that we need to adopt a more conservative approach. Okay, we need to adopt a more conservative approach. Why more conservative approach? So that we can address the challenges that are related to creation of deep fake videos, that are related to creation of like spreading the misinformation or disinformation, spreading fake news, etc. Right? So we need to adopt a more conservative approach related to generative AI systems. What will be that more conservative approach? The more conservative approach means to consider, right? This will be to consider all systems, okay, to consider all AI, all generative systems to be fake initially. We need to consider all of them fake, or all of them, right? All of them, let's say malicious, fake or malicious. We need to consider them this way unless proved otherwise. Okay, unless proved otherwise means unless proved otherwise means the generative AI systems, right? Only those generative AI systems should be used by people, right, at large that prove themselves that they are genuine one. Otherwise, all others should be discarded. So this is one solution that the author has suggested related to this. And related to this, the author has, let's say, suggested an approach, 3-stage approach. Okay, 3-stage approach. So what is that 3-stage approach? We are going to write about it. So one of the 3-stage approach is source validation. It says source validation. So what do we mean by source validation? Source validation means one should be sure about the source of generation of information. Means the author says that these AI systems should adopt all form of identity validation system that are accepted across different jurisdictions, across different countries. For example, in India, what is the widely accepted identity document, which is Aadhaar card. Aadhaar card is the widely accepted identity document. So author says that the AI systems that run in India, so they should be integrated with Aadhaar systems, so that anyone who is generating some information, right, who is, let's say, generating some information using this thing, I mean, like, using generative AI, so their Aadhaar card should be linked, so that like one should be very sure that who has generated or who is sharing that information. So that's why source validation is needed with appropriate identity documents. Like in different countries they have different documents, they have different standards, right? So the author says there should be source validation. The second point that the author suggests, right, apart from source validation, is content integrity. Okay, author says that there should be content integrity. Okay, content integrity. So what does the author mean by content integrity? So the author says the second is content integrity, which is to enable verifiability that the information has not been tampered with. Okay, means to verify, right? It means to verify that the information is not verify that the information is not tampered, that the information that is being shared, right, information is not tampered, means like it has not been altered. Okay, it has not been altered. So this is the second thing that the author suggests, right? Apart from this, the third thing that the author suggests is related to this. So the third thing that the author suggests, the author says that information validity should also be seen. Okay, what is this? Information validity. So what do we mean by information validity? By information validity, the author says that the third step is information validity. This is contentious but can be realized with automated fact checking and crowdsourced reviews. Okay, so for information validity there should be automated. Okay, author suggests there should be automated fact checking. Okay, fact checking and crowdsourced reviews. Okay, and crowdsourced reviews. So the author suggests these things, right? Means all generative AI systems should be, means like, you know, there are people with good intent who are creating safe and good let's say AI systems, right? And these AI systems are being widely used by people, and for that, like, governments of different jurisdictions, different countries are coming together. They are thinking how to regulate this, right? How to regulate this. But the author says, like, these things, these like actions that are being taken by different countries, they are not going to address the real problem that lies with it. Okay, the real problem that, let's say, may come up with this generative AI. So that's why the author has suggested an alternative framework, which is known as identity observance framework. Under identity observance framework, authors have suggested 3 stages. Like, there should be source validation, right? Second is content integrity must be checked. Then information validity must be checked. So these are the steps that the author has suggested related to this, right? So this is what you can read. So author says regulation is necessary but not sufficient. A broader approach should be considered. Okay, so this broader approach has been like suggested by the author, which is known as, the broader approach is known as identity observance framework. Okay, so that has been suggested. Then we have another topic. This topic is important. We are going to understand about this Katchatheevu island. Okay, so it says the Katchatheevu controversy. Okay, so this, what is this Katchatheevu? It is considered to be an islet. Okay, islet, which is a small form of island. Okay, island itself is small, but, like, you know, the smaller version of island is known as islet. S is silent. Okay, it is known as islet. So where is this Katchatheevu islet located? The Katchatheevu islet is located between, right? Okay, so I'll be drawing a map also for you. So this topic is very, very important. So I'll be writing the name of the topic from here. It says the Katchatheevu controversy. The Katchatheevu controversy. So we need to understand what is this Katchatheevu. Okay, we need to understand the context. Context is we need to understand about this Katchatheevu. So this Katchatheevu is a islet. Okay, it is a islet. Islet means a smaller island. So this island lies between India and Sri Lanka. Let's say, like, you know, I'm just drawing the map of southern portion of India. Okay. Let's say this is Katchatheevu, okay, this dot. So this Katchatheevu islet, I mean, like, this lies between India and Sri Lanka. This is a small island, right? This is a small island. So this island, I mean, like, initially long back, right? This island, I mean, like, here what used to happen, like, you know, during the Portuguese rule, when Portuguese were ruling, right? During Portuguese rule, like, you know, India and Sri Lanka and their fishermen, so they were both, right, they were both accessing this particular islet, which is Katchatheevu. Both the countries, their fishermen used to access this, right, access this Katchatheevu island. Why? Because these fishermen used to go with boat, they used to do fishing activity, they used to come back, so they used to get a lot of benefit of this. However, in 1974, the central government, okay, the central government of India had done an agreement, okay, has signed an agreement with, okay, signed an agreement with Sri Lanka. Okay, in that particular agreement, both the countries have together agreed that none of their, okay, means Sri Lanka has agreed that, like, you know, their fishermen is not going to come to Katchatheevu, and Indian side also they have agreed that their fishermen is not going to come to Katchatheevu. Why? Because, like, it was raising the issue of maritime security. Many of the Indian fishermen were crossing over the international boundary that lies between India and Sri Lanka. Normally what happens, like, you know, there is an act which is known as the there is an act which is, like, you know, there is an act that talks about, right, there is a convention, okay, that talks about, like, how the boundary should be demarcated, and according to that international convention, it should be the middle, right, middle of both two, let's say, like, you know, oceanic countries, two countries or island countries, it should be the middle line. So according to that particular agreement, I mean, like, you know, the agreement that the central government has signed with Sri Lanka, according to that agreement, they have agreed that none of their fishermen are going to go there. However, during that time, right, the central government has not, let's say, consented or has not talked to the state government of Tamil Nadu. Okay, they have not talked to, they have not, you know, taken the Tamil Nadu government in let's say, confidence, because most of the fishermen from Tamil Nadu used to go to Katchatheevu island, okay, most of the fishermen, and since they used to go over there, they used to get benefit also, means, like, you know, they used to get, let's say, fish and all. However, the Tamil Nadu chief minister at that point of time has registered this move of the central government, okay. However, central government ignored it and they went ahead with the agreement. Now again this controversy has erupted again. Why? Because recently the president of Sri Lanka has visited India. He has visited New Delhi and he has met with the Prime Minister of India, Mr. Modi. And during his visit, right, the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu has proposed that he should be included, right, in the discussion so that he can raise the issue of Katchatheevu island. However, the Prime Minister of India did not include the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, and since he has written a letter, right, to the Prime Minister, so all the fishermen who have been arrested by Sri Lankan Navy, they have been, let's say, released, right, by Sri Lankan Navy to India. However, their boats have been confiscated. Their the fish that they had let's say like captured, that have been confiscated. So this issue has raised once again. It has raised once again. And in this article, the author has talked about the previous thing also. So there was a ruler. His name is Raja Ramnath. Okay, Raja Ramnath Sethupathi. Okay, so this ruler. So Indian contention is that this ruler Raja Ramnath Sethupathi, he had, let's say, his zameen extended to Katchatheevu island also. Means like his let's say right was there on the Katchatheevu island. However, Sri Lankan side, they say that during the Portuguese rule, Sri Lankan people used to access it. So there was, let's say, conflict between both the country, conflict between India and Sri Lanka related to it. So that's why they had signed an agreement. So this is the thing. In this article they have mentioned about it. Now we need to see how the things turns. I mean, okay, because Tamil Nadu people, so the chief minister of Tamil Nadu and their people, they are of the opinion that this island should be returned by Sri Lanka to India. Okay, so and there has been a debate also in the parliament long back in 1976. In that debate also, one of the member of the parliament has said that there is no dispute between India and Sri Lanka related to it, and that Katchatheevu island lies on the Sri Lankan side. So they have mentioned that thing. It is mentioned in this article also, right? So with this, we will move to solving these two questions. One of the question is UPSC prelims previous year question. It says which one of the following statement is correct. So they have given multiple statements. Here the correct answer is option B, which says Katchatheevu and Tin Bigha are territories handed over to Sri Lanka and Bangladesh sovereignty respectively, okay, by the government of India. So this is right. I mean, this question has been asked in 1999. Now we have another question. This is for practice, right? So we have framed this question. It says, with reference to the Katchatheevu island, okay, technically it should be written as Katchatheevu islet, okay, it should be written as Katchatheevu islet. So it says, with reference to the Katchatheevu islet, consider the following statements. They have given two statements, right? One of the statement, it says it is an offshore island in the Pak Strait. This is right. Second, India ceded the island to Sri Lanka through a joint agreement in 1974. This is also right, okay. So both the statements are right. Now they are asking which of the above statements is or are incorrect. So none of them are incorrect. So correct answer would be option D. Both the statements are right, but they are asking incorrect. So none of them are incorrect. Answer would be D. So with this, we will move to the next topic quickly. Now we have another topic. It says, what is RBI's new pilot for frictionless credit? Okay. Here RBI means Reserve Bank of India. Reserve Bank of India has launched a new pilot project. Name of that pilot project is Public Tech Platform for Frictionless Credit. Okay. Name of the pilot project is Public Tech Platform for Frictionless Credit. Okay. Let's understand about this topic. Name of the topic is, what is RBI's new pilot? What is RBI's new pilot for frictionless credit? So the Reserve Bank of India has recently launched a pilot project, and name of the pilot project is Public Tech Platform for Frictionless. Okay, it's Public Tech Platform for frictionless credit. Okay. So this is the name of the pilot project that the Reserve Bank of India has launched. What is the purpose of this pilot project? Okay, what is the purpose? The purpose is to provide credit related information. Okay, to provide credit related information or credit information, right, of borrowers, right, of borrowers to lenders. Okay, of borrowers to lenders. Means, let's say we as citizens, we go to banks to ask for some kind of loan. The banks ask for our PAN card. Okay, banks take our PAN card, and using our PAN card, they check our civil record. Okay, civil record means civil stands for Credit Information Bureau of India Limited. So that civil record, let's say, gives information to the bankers. Okay, that civil information gives, let's say, like, credit worthiness information to the banks. Okay, so they get to know the credit worthiness, right, of borrowers. Okay, they get to know credit worthiness of borrowers. Who get to know? The lenders, the banks, right, banks or non-banking financial companies. So they get to know about it. Why they get to know about it? Because they want to check, like, if we lend money to this person, whether this person has the capacity to repay that loan or not. If they find that this person do not have the capacity to repay the loan, so they do not give the loan in the first place itself. If they are sure that this person has credit worthiness, this person will return our money, and this person has the potential or capacity to return our money, only then they give this particular thing. Okay, so this particular project of the Reserve Bank of India, this will be implemented, right? It will be implemented by which organization? It will be implemented by one of the subsidiary, which is known as wholly owned subsidiary of the Reserve Bank of India. It's known as the Reserve Bank Innovation Hub. Okay, it's known as the Reserve Bank Innovation Hub. Okay, Reserve Bank Innovation Hub, RBIH. So this organization is making this public tech platform for frictionless credit. Okay, so this particular platform, right, what is the purpose? We have discussed about this purpose, right? So what it is going to do, what will be its work, what will be the work of the platform? As of now, we all know that if we go to a bank, they check our credit history. So this particular platform is going to amalgamate, like, from which source you have taken loan earlier, when did you take loan earlier, how did you repay your loan, so who were the previous lenders who have given you loan. All of these information will be provided by this particular like, let's say, public tech platform for frictionless credit. And this is going to boost, right, this is going to boost the way that credits are being given. Okay, so it's going to boost. And then there will be, let's say, a way where, like, all the credits are extended directly digitally. Okay, so it will give boost to credit extension. Okay, credit extension digitally. So you can apply directly, you don't need to go and interact with people in banks, so they will be directly disbursing the amount to you digitally. So this is going to improve this thing. And even the World Bank, okay, even the World Bank has, this World Bank has also apprised, it has said that this particular project, right, is going to bring revolutionary changes into the banking sector, right? It's going to bring revolutionary changes into the banking sector. So that's the thing. So hope you might have understood this topic. So with this, we will move to the next topic. Now this is another topic, this is important. It says how AI is used to increase the frequency of acoustic side channel attacks. Okay. So in this article, we are going to discuss about a very important concept, right? Very important concept. This is known as acoustic side channel attack. Okay, we are going to understand about this acoustic side channel attacks. Okay, we are going to understand about acoustic side channel attacks. So let's understand what is acoustic side channel attacks. So this acoustic side channel attacks will be fostered or used by artificial intelligence. Okay, in short it is known as ASCA. Okay, acoustic side channel attack. So what is this? Now we need to first understand what is this. Okay, so what is this? So this acoustic side channel attack is a kind of attack on computer systems. For example, we as users, let's say like I am a user, I do have a computer right in front of me, I am using this computer. I do have very confidential information. What? I do have confidential information that is stored in this system, right? Confidential information may be related to bank, may be related to my organization. And similarly, in place of me, there can be any other person, let's say, who is accessing some data of the Reserve Bank of India and all. So that's very confidential information. So using acoustic side channel attacks, these computer systems, right? These computer systems may be hacked. Okay, they will be hacked. And these computer systems may be hacked. How? Like in computer systems, we generally use keyboards. What we use? Keyboards, right? We use keyboards. And if we press keyboards, this malicious, let's say, software that they put, right? They'll be able to identify, right, from the sound that it generates. For example, if we press keyboard, it's going to generate a sound, right? From the sound, they are going to identify what we have pressed just from the sound. Okay, means like it has an accuracy of 95%, right, in normal cases. Even if you are using a normal laptop or if you are using a MacBook, okay, if you are using MacBook or normal laptop, so they can identify information that you have typed just by hearing the noise, hearing the sound. That is known as acoustic side channel attack. And this is not a new concept. The sound, side channel attacks has been there since 1950s. Okay, so there are multiple ways of attacking the computer systems. One of the way is acoustic side channel attack, okay, that I have talked about. So in this article, the author is, let's say, explaining that how artificial intelligence is used to increase the frequency of acoustic side channel attack. Okay, so how AI can do? AI has deep learning models. Okay, they have deep learning models. Okay, deep learning models means they have large language models. They have large language models. So using these deep learning methods, large language models, etc., so AI can fasten the way how they can decipher the information that you are typing in your system. Not only that, what they can do is like they can increase the frequency of such attacks using the AI based systems. So using AI based system, at the same time they can attack on, let's say, thousands of computers, right? So this is a great threat, this is a great risk. So the author says that this risk exists. Now in place of using the physical keyboards, the keyboards that where we type, if we use soft keyboards means having, let's say, touchpad like this. So it is touchpad, right? Wherever we click, it's going to produce the same sound, right? It's going to produce same sound. If we use that, so the frequency of attack, the accuracy of attack goes down. It comes down to 40%. So that then it becomes difficult for those people, right, who are attacking your systems using acoustic side channel attacks. I hope you might have understood through this. So they have also mentioned that, how they can get the sound from your laptops, right? They can get sound by placing a mobile phone nearby your laptop, or let's say when you are in Zoom meeting, that time if you type something, so they'll be able to hear from the Zoom meeting also. So there are many ways in which, they can access the information from your computer. Okay, so this is known as acoustic side channel attack. So we have a question for you. You can solve this question in your free time. It says, what is artificial intelligence? Okay, what is artificial intelligence? Discuss the application of AI along with downside and risk associated with AI. So we need to talk about what are the applications of artificial intelligence. Then we also need to mention about the negative aspect. Downside means negative aspect of AI and the risk associated with AI. Okay. So one of the risks that you can mention is acoustic side channel attacks, along with other risks that you might have studied, right, when you studied about generative AI. Now, this is another topic. This topic is again very, very important. It says Supreme Court judgment delivered 4 decades ago counters President's rule in Jammu and Kashmir. So as we all know that the Supreme Court of India is hearing cases related to abrogation of Article 370, okay, related to abrogation of Article 370. So Article 370 was abrogated by the central government, right, by following certain methods. One of the method is, initially what they have done, they have dissolved the state legislative assembly, okay. So the state legislative assembly of Jammu and Kashmir was dissolved, and then governor, okay, governor has assumed power, and after governor assumed power, within a month, president has issued president's rule, okay, president has issued president's rule. President has imposed president's rule under Article 356 of the Constitution, okay. And subsequently what they have done, subsequently they have declared the Article 370 to be inoperative in the state of Jammu and Kashmir, and they have, let's say, taken away the statehood of the state of Jammu and Kashmir, and they have bifurcated the Jammu and Kashmir into 2 union territories. One of the union territories, Jammu and Kashmir with a state legislative assembly, and other is Ladakh without a state legislative assembly. So this is what has been done by the central government, and this has been challenged in the Supreme Court of India by the petitioners from Jammu and Kashmir. So from the petitioner side, there are many, let's say, lawyers who are defending, let's say, like, you know, who are, let's say, making their case in the Supreme Court of India in front of the 5-judge bench, which is also known as constitutional bench of the Supreme Court of India. Okay, so here, like, the like, you know, those lawyers have made a point that, like, you know, way back, 42 years back from now, the Supreme Court of India had given a judgment, and judgments of the Supreme Court of India are also considered to be precedents. Precedents means those judgments still hold good in other cases as well. Okay, so the lawyers have said that, like, you know, long back the Supreme Court of India has given a judgment in the case of Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M. Karunanidhi, okay, M. Karunanidhi. So in that case, what has happened that, so I will talk about the crux. So there was a 1-page judgment of the Supreme Court of India way back, 4 decades back, and in that judgment it was mentioned by the Supreme Court that if you dissolve the state legislative assembly, and then if you have the governor over there, right, after governor has assumed the power, how can you say, how can the central government say that there was a breakdown of constitutional machinery, and how the president can take over the authority of that state? So that has been, there is already a judgment of the Supreme Court of India. So where like in 1971 judgment, in a nutshell, holds that once the governor dissolves the state legislative assembly and assumes power of the state, there is no question of the president taking over by claiming failure of constitutional machinery. Okay, so this is what is mentioned, means like if governor has assumed the power, then the president cannot, let's say, like, take over by claiming there is failure of constitutional machinery, because governor himself is appointed by the central government. Okay, governor himself is appointed by the central government. So this is bringing, let's say, like, weight to the to the, let's say, contention of the people of the Jammu and Kashmir, or those people who have filed cases in the Supreme Court of India. Okay, so this is bringing this thing. So that's why here the author said that the governor is not elected, but he is appointed by the president under Article 155, and Article 356 makes provision in case of failure of constitutional machinery in the state. But when an assembly is dissolved, there is no failure of the constitutional machinery within Article 356. Okay, so this is what is mentioned, and there was a case also, which is SR Bommai case. Okay, so he said the purpose of Article 356 was to restore normalcy to a state, not to do away with the state. So the President of India has, let's say, like, applied Article 356, means like, applied President's rule, and then they have, let's say, done away with the statehood of Jammu and Kashmir. Here the authors say that the purpose of Article 356 is to bring back normalcy in the state, not to do away with the state. Okay, so he referred to the Constitution Bench judgment in SR Bommai case, which said that a state as a constitutional entity must survive Article 356. Okay, in that thing it is mentioned in SR Bommai case, it was said that, like, the state as a constitutional, let's say, like, constitutional entity, it must survive Article 356, means like, the central government cannot impose Article 356 and then say that, like, the constitutional machinery has broken down, and that then they cannot take away the statehood of the state. Okay, so this is the thing. I hope you might have understood about the ongoing issue that is happening. So, like, cases are being heard by the Supreme Court of India in this case. Okay, so the Chief Justice of India is, let's say, like, hearing both the parties. He himself made so many statements for defending, like, the move of the central government in the Supreme Court of India itself. Now we need to see how things go. I mean, like, he has questioned, he has asked questions, right? He has asked questions to the both the parties related to, like, the points that they have made. Now let's come to this topic. It says payment crisis leads to uncertainty over Russian defense deal. Okay, so with Russia here, like, this topic is related to India-Russia relations, right? India-Russia relations. So this is part of GS paper 2. Okay, this is part of GS paper 2 under IR, international relations. So here, like, India is in the process of importing S-400, right, missiles, S-400 missiles from Russia. Okay, from Russia. However, for importing these missiles, we need to make payment to Russia, right? We need to make payment to Russia. But because of Russia-Ukraine war, okay, because of Russia-Ukraine war, what is happening? That Russia has been expelled from the SWIFT messaging system. Okay, they have been expelled from SWIFT messaging system. So SWIFT messaging system allowed secure communication to happen between banking channels, between remitter and the person who authenticates the transaction. So this SWIFT messaging system was for international payment settlement. Okay, it was for international payment settlement. It was used for international payment authentication or settlement. Okay, so I am writing authentication. Since Russia was expelled from here, then India and Russia, okay, India and Russia have started doing trade, right, in INR vis-a-vis, okay, or INR and this, like, Russian ruble they were doing. However, like, lot of Indian currency is already there with Russia. Okay, so Russia has surplus of it. Now Russia, let's say, like, if their people purchase from something from us, they are going to return our INR. However, the bulk payment that happens, see, S-400 missiles, I mean, like, it is going to have bulk payment thing. If bulk payment happens, so, like, those things need the SWIFT messaging system. So the payment has been halted, okay. Since payment from Indian side has been halted, right, so that's why the people who were exporting the S-400 missile defense system to India, they have also said, let the payment come first, then we are going to, let's say, export, we are going to release the consignment from Russia, okay. So this topic is related to this, and also, like, for this purpose, they had created a Vostro account, okay. They had created a Vostro account. Vostro account means a temporary account for payment settlement, okay, in INR and ruble thing. And there was one instance where the payment between India and Russia was settled using Chinese renminbi. So renminbi is a currency of China, right? So using that. However, people have opposed this particular move of the Indian government. So after then, like, they did not do further transaction using Russian currency to, using Chinese currency to Russia. So with this, like, we have another topic. This topic says 1400 tons of onions sent to markets, buffer stock raised to 5 lakh tons, government says, okay. We already know that the tomato price in the market had gone up, all right. Tomato price has gone up, okay, it has increased, okay, price of tomato has increased. Similarly, now the next item was this onion, okay, onion. Its price was also increasing in the market, okay, its price was increasing. Now the government wanted to take a step so that the price of onion can be, let's say, lowered in the market. So like yesterday in the news, we have seen that the government has imposed some additional tariff of 40% on export of onions. So that what that step has done, exporting onions has become, let's say, expensive. So that's why people thought, like, we should be keeping onion here, we should sell it in local market. Okay, now government of India has released, let's say, like, 1400 tons of onions, right, for the market. And this has been done by one organization which is known as the National Cooperative Consumer Federation of India, okay. And it is going to sell the onion at 25 rupees per kg in the market. Apart from this, here in this article, they have mentioned about another body which is known as NAFED, okay. This is known as NAFED. NAFED means National Agricultural Cooperative Marketing Federation of India, okay, NAFED. So this NAFED, okay, so the department termed the move to enhance the stocks as unprecedented and said it has directed the NCCF and NAFED to procure 1 lakh ton each to achieve the additional procurement target alongside calibrated sale of the procured stocks in major consumption centers. So this is done to protect our market, okay. This is done to, let's say, like, take a step related to inflation in food prices, okay. So this step that the government of India has taken to release onion in the market is to, let's say, address the issue of food inflation. Then we have another topic. It says, after second deboost, Chandrayaan-3 on glide path to moon, okay. Chandrayaan-3 on glide path to moon. So we know that, like, the Indian Space Research Organization has released Chandrayaan-3. They have launched Chandrayaan-3 on 14th of July 2023. And after then, Chandrayaan-3 has gone, let's say, like, gone through different phases, and it has reached, to moon. So it is now on the moon's orbit, and we have done many deboosting activity also. What we have done? We have deboosting activity we have done. We have separated the propulsion module and the lander module. Now Chandrayaan-3 has reached a very low orbit of moon, which is 25 kilometer into 134 kilometer orbit on moon. So now very soon on 23rd of August, today is 21st, day after tomorrow, the Chandrayaan-3, lander is going to land on the surface of moon. After it lands on the surface of the moon, the rover will come out of the lander, and it's going to, let's say, rove on the surface of the moon, is going to conduct in situ chemical experiment on the surface of the moon. It's going to bring us, let's say, like, data from the Chandrayaan mission. And this Chandrayaan mission has a mission life of 14 days, okay. 14 days is equivalent to one moon day, okay, one moon day or one sidereal day. It is known as sidereal day. So this topic is related to that. Then we have a question for you. You need to, let's say, solve this question. This question is going to be important. It says, India has achieved remarkable success in unmanned space missions, including the Chandrayaan and Mars orbiter mission, but has not ventured into manned space mission, both in terms of technology and logistics. Explain critically, right? So this is a previous year question, okay? So you need to write answer to this question. This question has been asked by UPSC in 2017. You can answer this question. However, I would like to give an additional information, okay? The Indian Space Research Organization has also announced Gaganyaan mission, okay? It has announced Gaganyaan mission. So Gaganyaan mission is a manned space mission where we are going to send humans to this space. This is also known as human flight space mission, okay? We are going to send humans to this space. So you need to write this answer to this question by considering that you don't know about Gaganyaan mission, or like you can mention that, like, you know, ISRO has announced the Gaganyaan mission. So far that mission has not been launched. So I mean, like, this question is still holds, right, to the current level. Then we have another topic. This topic is important. This is going to be very, very important topic. It says Luna 25, okay, Luna 25, Russia's first lunar mission in 47 years crashes into the moon, okay. So Russia has sent its own moon mission similar to Chandrayaan 3, okay. So their moon mission was launched very recently. It has reached to the, let's say, orbit of Chandrayaan, orbit of moon, and from there they wanted to make a landing on the south pole of the moon. The Indian Chandrayaan mission also wants to land on the south pole of the moon, okay. So they tried to land on the south pole of the moon. However, it crashed. What happened? It crashed on the south pole of the moon. Since it crashed on the south of the moon, south pole of the moon, so it has brought to end the mission, Luna 25 mission. And Russia, I mean, like, you know, after 47 years, you know, after long time, so Russia has launched this particular mission. Before this, the USSR, the, let's say, like the main entity, they have sent the first human being to space. They were the ones who have sent the, let's say, like, you know, first people to, like, you know, first mission to moon. That's the thing. So the lunar mission was Russia's first since 1976, when it was part of the Soviet Union. Only 3 governments have managed successfully moon landings: the Soviet Union, US and China, okay. Soviet Union, US and China, only these 3 countries have made, let's say, like this thing, landings on the moon. However, Russia, through this Luna 25, you know, mission could not complete this thing, okay. So this was a failure project, but we need to see, we need to keep our fingers crossed to see whether, like, you know, our Chandrayaan mission makes a successful landing or not. We hope, we pray that, like, you know, it should make successful landing, because it will make India to be the 4th nation to do it. So with this, like, we will solve this question. It says the Luna 25 mission of Russia, recently seen in the news, is launched by which organization, okay. So they have asked the name of the organization. It is launched by Roscosmos. Roscosmos is the name of the Russian space agency, okay. Correct answer for this question is option B, okay. Correct answer is option B. So we have given explanation also to this question. You can go through this explanation to understand more. So that's all for the day. Thank you so much everyone for attending today's session. I hope you have a good day ahead. Thank you.